Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner. Okay, this is my recap of Nelly and Ashanti. We belong together. Okay, this is a Peacock reality show that Nelly and Ashanti put forth. Now, this show was like talked about. I hope I can hear me. This show was talked about before he went round there and performed for Code 45's inauguration. And I like Ashanti. And I'm like, child, let me just watch it. Not because I support Nelly, but because I like Ashanti and I wanted to see what the show was about. So, I mean, I know I could have just not looked at it at all, but I watched. Okay, but look, first things first, if you've not done so already, take a second, okay, subscribe to my channel, become a whole JayBird and stuff. Okay, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and y'all know the comment section. There's always other content up, okay? I had a full recap of the Housewives of Atlanta reunion trailer. We discussed Simon's interview about Portia and other things, Christian going about the BT things and whatnot. Peter and Amina, even the Housewives of Atlanta looks and other things as well. So there are other content. There are other videos and content on my channel. Go watch those. Okay, now I am here, even though it is 2 a.m. Okay, so I hope I look great for a 2 a.m. Video and whatnot. I have to throw a little shirt, okay? But yeah, I watched all 8 episodes on the show. Okay, now Nelly and Ashanti, we belong together is the name of the show. Look, they can't agree on where to live. He competing with the baby. I feel like the notion that they had this love story, fairy tale romance years ago, and then they broke up, child, and they came back together and fell in love again because the love never left and blah blah blue. That love story was a fairy tale. This is a test of the emergency broadcast systems. That is Nelly and Shanti. Okay, now look. Again, it was an 8. Let me share. It was an 8 episode series. Okay, I'm much because I want y'all to see the names of the thing. Okay, so look, it's 8. It's on Peacock. Okay, it's on Peacock and whatnot. It's 8 episodes. Okay, around here. Okay, episode because I did not want to do a whole, let me do a whole episode. No, I didn't want an episode by episode recap. I didn't feel like it. I didn't want that. Anyway, so episode 1, break up to make up. That's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. Dance again for the fools and stuff. Okay, so yeah, episode 1, break up to make up. 38 minutes, okay? Episode 2, work it out, 30 minutes. Episode 3, this little game we play, 27 minutes. Party people, okay, 32 minutes. You can find me in St. Louis, 29 minutes. We had a baby, 26 minutes. Episode 7, dilemma, 30 minutes, and the way that I loved you, 28 minutes. So for me and the show, I liked it. I did. I feel like, graphic to get up on screen. Wrong button. I feel like we always had the notion that, Nelly and Ashanti dated for like 10 years back in the day, you know what I'm saying? And they had broke up, but we never really saw them together. But it was always in our head this notion that it was this love story. Okay, this is the sounds of love making is what we thought it was. Okay, so to me, the show showed a few things. I got a few graphics. We seen both of their birthday parties, but that's also stuff we saw on social media. Okay, we seen Nelly had Ashanti a party because she just had that baby. She could not travel. Well, no, she could not. She did not want to travel yet to no island. So we seen that on social media, but also saw it on the show. We seen that Nelly had a 50th birthday party, all in gold and whatever. We seen that on the show. Okay. We had Ashanti Mama around there. We got Nelly Mama around there. Now on this show, Ashanti Mama was a consistent person because she is Ashanti's manager, as she calls it, momager. Okay, but she said, well, first of all, I was the first. She said, I was the first momager, and it meant mom in anger because I'm a mom. And if you for my kid, I get angry because I was a mom. And I said, okay. So she wanted to make it known I was the first momager, not Kim Kardashian mama, not anybody else's mama, bitch. It was me. Tina said, girl, it was me. I'm the mama. I'm the momager. Okay. So she was always on the show because she was working with Ashanti. We seen Nelly Mama the one time at his birthday party. Now Nelly kept stressing how the family dynamic and how Ashanti's family goes and how his family is or how his family was, when he was younger, is different. Okay. He said Ashanti family is a close knit family. Her parents are together, like they always are around each other. And with me and my family, like I see them when I see them. He brought up how his mom and dad divorced when he was young. He lived with his mom at some point, lived with dad at some point, and then he was like bounced around from family, bounced around, child, for whatever the reason may be. I don't know. I don't know what the reasons were because he didn't, you know what I'm saying? But again, his point was I didn't have this close knit bond, but Ashanti does. But his mama was there. Okay. So that's that. He has the two kids plus two additional kids. He has his two kids, his son and daughter. The son is in the red hat, the daughter's in the blue hat. And then the niece and nephew who's around there too. And the only reason I did not get like better pictures of them, they really weren't on the show like that. They was there for the daddy birthday party. They were there for like Christmas, but I was like, child, they wasn't really in here. But his two kids all of the kids are grown. Okay, let's say that. All the four children are all grown. They're all at least 25 and up. I think his daughter, who was the oldest, is in her 30s. So they're all grown adult children, but the two in with the do rag on and the girls in the pink, those are his daughter's children. His daughter, his girl, his sister died. I want to say around 2005 ish. And so when the sister passed away, Nelly took in her two children. At that point in time, they were like kids. So he helped raise his niece and nephew. So those are his kids, and stuff. Um, but yeah, overall, to me, the whole show was about we're together now, we got married, we have a baby. But I felt like we got a more honest explanation that there really wasn't this big love story. Back in the 2000s, we knew Nelly and Ashanti were dating. And we thought it was like a real relationship. They were together for so long. But on this show, they were like, we dated off and on for 11 years. We broke up a few times in that time span. But even when we were together, we would be together out of the month, maybe a week or two. Because we're both traveling, we're both performing, we're both artists. At that time back then, he still lived in St. Louis. She still lived in New York. They weren't living in the same city or state. So she was like, so back in the day, they would break up. Or even when they would argue and not see each other for like 2 weeks. So they didn't spend as much time together. So I was like, well, if y'all were young, y'all weren't living together, y'all lived in different states. Um, so to me, I felt like that meant there wasn't this amazing love story back then. They just were dating. Young rapper, singer, both very popular and popping at that time. And even they were like, if we would argue and fuss and fight, we just wouldn't talk. We wouldn't talk things out. If I'm pissed, I'm leaving. If he pissed, he leaving. And then there was no communication to work things out. And if I'm pissed and we beefing, and even if he called me to talk it through because I'm pissed off, I'm not gonna answer. And he said when he said if I'm pissed at her off, I would change. This fool said sometimes I'll be mad and I would change my voicemail to pimp juice. I said not to pimp juice. That you only want me for my pimp juice. I was like, Nelly. So I'm not saying they weren't in love back then, but just hearing how they explain it here is like, oh, yes, they were dating, but there was no clear communication. They weren't working things out. They didn't live together. They were breaking up off and on or whatever. Now they were separated for all those years. Then they came back together. That's why I said the love story was a fairy tale. And this is the test. Because now they're together. Now they also both did say we're grown now. We're adults now. We communicate now. It's not a thing where if I'm pissed off, I'm gonna walk away and leave and not talk to them because we're not married. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it was also a quick marriage. Because Ashanti said, after he proposed, we kind of quickly got married, which is why they're gonna have a wedding later. So I'm like, is this still the honeymoon phase of dating? Because now Versus happened in 2021. I think they got together around 2022. So it's been about 3, maybe 4 years of them making these things work. But even now, they don't really live in the same. Well, they live together. They commute between New York and uh, Louisiana, New York and St. Louis, because he like I don't want to live in New York, and she like I don't want to leave New York, and he like, but I told you before we got pregnant and all of this stuff while we were kicking and dating or whatever. I kept saying my home base is St. Louis. My office is there. My whole family, like my life is in St. Louis. I'm like, y'all didn't have a real conversation to say, hey, okay, so if we get married, where we gonna live? Because if you don't want to leave St. Louis, and if I don't want to leave New York, how will that work? Okay, so I think they have a place in New York, they have a place in St. Louis, but they have not even decided where to permanently live. Okay, now again, all of Nelly's kids are in St. Louis. Okay, all of Ashanti's family members are basically in New York. You know what I'm saying? And even though we see them as this great unit, they're always laughing and smiling, child, and going out to eat and having conversation or whatever. But for me, the full show was I'm a new mom. I got this baby. I'm so happy with my baby. And he like all she care about is the baby. I'm second fiddle. No one cares about me. What about me? What about me? And I feel like for both of them, they're new parents. Even though he has 2 of his own kids plus 2 bonus kids, I don't think he ever has had to really raise a child in a marriage relationship in the house. You know what I'm saying? There was even a scene in the season where he had a talk with his daughter. His daughter's the oldest, and even because the daughter has a son as well. And I like how he told her she's a great mom. You doing good, daughter. You a great mom. And in the conversation between his daughter, not is it not I think Nana, and him, she said, well, it must have been hard because I can't imagine being, 16, 17, 18 years old and having to be a parent. And because him and the mom had her as teenagers. And now, even though she's, late 20s or even 30, and she has her new baby, because even Ashanti says it's crazy how me and my daughter, plus that's his, I don't know, stepdaughter, whatever, we both had babies at the same time. And I think her son is maybe a year or two, and then I think their son KK just turned a year. So again, even seeing that conversation. But anyway, the daughter was saying to Nelly how, she like, it's crazy that y'all had me so young, and it must have been hard. Like, thank God I made it, you know what I'm saying? And it was a cute conversation, but I felt like Nelly having them so young, for one, then he became a rapper and was on the road for two. So him being in the house with a newborn baby, it ain't that's freshly new. And then Ashanti being a brand new mom as well, different. So even though he kept saying to episode every turn you can get, oh my God, oh it's the baby. I need more attention. It's all about the baby, the baby, the baby, the baby. And again, he wasn't saying it in a F the baby way. He was just complaining in a joking way. He was also like very assuring her that he loves her and she looks great and he knows how hard it is for her to be mom. So he wasn't. I'm happy he wasn't like speaking to her in any like derogatory, mean way, but it was a consistent statement he would make in every episode. Okay, the baby got to get the child. The baby took over the bus, the tour bus. The baby took over this. The baby, it's the baby. She's a new mom. You know what I'm saying? So to me, he is a new dad in a whole new era because he's 50 now. And even her saying like, I need your help now. Okay, if I'm asleep and you sleep, but the baby start crying, you can get up and change a diaper too. And he said, I told you, I can get you anything you want. Okay, I will pay for all the nannies. I'm not changing diapers. And I'm like, well, damn. Now, I also feel, okay, Ashanti, if he told you, hey, let's get a nanny, let's get us a night nurse, so that way neither one of us has to get up while I sleep to change the baby diaper. I would take advantage. Okay, cool. I want a 24-hour live-in nanny. Now, Ashanti's cousin does help babysit, but I don't know if she's like a live-in everyday nanny or a nanny that they take when she has a show to do. But again, if he's saying, hey, I'll pay for a full-time nanny, but I'm not getting up at night and changing no diapers. I mean, if he told her that before, I mean, I guess cool, but at the same time, change your baby's diaper if she needs the help. Or Shanti had that motherfucker pay for a full-time 24 hours, 7 days a week nanny. Okay, so anytime he don't want to do something, cool, check, pay for it, credit card, cash, give it to me right now. Anyway, but again, her mom around there helping too. Okay, they have good parties. Okay, Nelly drinks a lot. What I will say, Nelly drinks a lot. It seems when he's at an event. Because his party they had, the black and white ball they showed, what I'm saying? She brings up how he gamble a lot. Child, he'll call me sometime and say he down 250K. I say 250K? $1,000? Bitch, what? So she's aware he likes to gamble. But he said he said I like to gamble, but he also said I'm rich. Child, let's hope you stay that way. And because the house they have, I think in Jersey, or some house they have in New York, they had they sharing. They had to furnish it, and she took him to a bed store, a sleeping instrument store that sells mattresses, and they got in this bed, child, and the bed was real comfortable. It was real nice and comfortable, whatever. And he said, "Okay, so how much does this bed cost?" The dude said, "With this sleeping mattress, this sleeping instruments, it starts at 73,000." Girl, I said $1,000. When Nelly said, "Oh hell, dog, get up out people's beds." No, 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 no. It was that bed. It was 63,000. Excuse me. It was another bed that was like 300,000. I said, "That's too rich for me." And his point was, I was raised. I didn't have a bed of my own until I was like 8 or 9. He said, I was raised. I didn't have nothing, so I'm okay with not having nothing. And I'm not going to spend it, but I agree. I'm not spending $73,000 on a bed. Does it last forever? And if the bed breaks, is the new one for free? But for 73,000, girl, that was insane to me. So again, Nelly saying how he gambles, but he's rich. Him saying, I told her I'll pay for the nannies, buy the bed. Maybe maybe instead of the nanny, I want the bed. I don't think they got the bed. And even at one point later on in the season, one of the episodes, when they're again discussing how he doesn't want to live in New York and how she does not want to leave New York, and she's like, I don't mind St. Louis, I don't want to live there. My family, my mom and them is here. I love New York. I'm saying it's her hometown. Anyway, when she said, but in St. Louis, like y'all don't have good pizza. That's a valid point. I don't want to move somewhere that don't have good food. I can't. You know what I'm saying? And he said, for the amount of money we pay to live in New York, we can fly a family who make pizza from Italy. We can fly them to St. Louis, build them a house, and pay them a yearly salary, and still it'll be cheaper than what it costs to live in New York. I said, if it's more expensive to live in New York, I would want to move somewhere else. But I feel like, why didn't y'all have the conversation before getting married and before having a baby? Because neither one of them was budging on where they live. Now again, the baby's only like I think he turned 1 in July. So when this was filmed, he was a couple months old. So where he's gonna go to school right now doesn't matter. But once he's like 3 or 4, y'all need to make a decision, okay? So they was always sitting around, chit and chat. And what I do love, Ashanti was very much so. I wouldn't say she was self-conscious, but she was very self-aware that her body had changed, from having a baby. And we've seen her working out, we've seen her pumping her breast for breastfeeding. And her outfits or whatever, how she used to wear this and that, and that's just different. And I like that he was like, baby, you look great. Okay, you ain't gotta do a thing. You know what I'm saying? I love you. He was very supportive of her and her feelings. I'm happy because some men be like, yeah, girl, go work out. And he ain't do that. I love how he was like encouraging her to say, hey, your body was fine. Okay, don't worry about it. I love you regardless. Okay. Even her being apprehensive about going back to work. Like she was like, before I got pregnant, I would be doing like 5 shows a week performing across the world, flying here and there and then flying on vacation. And now I ain't left the house in 3 months because my baby was born. You know what I'm saying? And how can I go back to working on a show? I'm in call for this Motown Christmas special. I'm scared to fly. I want to bring my baby. What can I? She did not want to do a show because she did not want to leave the baby. And the baby at that point in time was maybe 3 or 4 months. So she had, an anxiety about leaving the baby. Saying, I don't want to fly with him on a plane because what if it crashes? So, all those things. And I like how he was supportive in her fears as a mom, the first time mom, with her body, with her going back to work. You know what I'm saying? And even her saying, like, I don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to, but I want to. And that can mean because she's rich and so is he. I don't know. Okay. What else do I have on here? The conversation is now, first of all, Ashanti with no makeup is so gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Not saying she isn't great with makeup, but when I seen her with no, I was like, oh, when she was talking to Nelly's daughter, and in all the scenes of her fresh face, I'm like, she's so gorgeous. I really wish she would, wear less makeup sometimes because she don't even need it. You know what I'm saying? She don't need it. She looks great. She's so cute. Anyway, but yeah, she was talking to Nana, and again, this is a part of us kind of finding out, when her and Nelly were dating, the kids was kids, you know what I'm saying? And the daughter had like Ashanti. Nana said, when my dad introduced us to his girlfriend Ashanti, I couldn't recollect that was his girlfriend. To me, that was Ashanti the singer. I like her songs. I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? Because I was 11, 12, 13 at that point in time. And now that Ashanti, this is 20, 2 years later, she's an adult with a baby. You know what I'm saying? It's a dip. Now they have a friendship. And seeing them two talk was great. Even seeing Nana say how she wants to get married one day too. And Ashanti being not like Ashanti didn't seem like a mother figure, but just a good friend. Because they're the same age. Almost. Not almost, because Ashanti's in her 40s and the daughter is like maybe in her early 30s or late 20s. She may be 30. She may be 30. Because if Nelly is, let's see, Nelly is 50. Let me do the math. Nelly is 50. And she mentioned he had her around 19. So she may be 30, 31. Okay. And Ashanti's about in her 40s. So again, they, whatever. But they have a cool relationship. I like how, and she had the same cool relationship with the other kids too. Now, at one point, I did not like how the editing was trying to make it seem as if, oh, Ashanti isn't close with the kids, and that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? It was cute. We seen Ashanti talking to child LL Cool J wife Simone, who has been married to LL Cool J for almost 30 years, because Ashanti, like, when me and Nelly were together back then, but we're together now, and like he's on the road, I'm on the road, we're both on the road, how can that work? You know what I'm saying? And Simone was like, with LL, with Todd, she said back in the day, like he was always on the road touring, and he was once he stopped rapping, he then started acting. So she was like, for us, absence made the heart grow fonder. You know what I'm saying? If I could be on the road with him, I would be. But I was also at home with the kids. So again, we made it work. But when he was on the road, it was okay because he was out working and I was at home waiting or on to with him. But it made us stronger. So even like each conversation she would have with either her mom, with Nana, with Simone, even her the friends, they were all encouraging her about one, being a new mom, being a new wife. I liked the support she had. You know what I'm saying? That was great. It was cool. What else did we see? They had some cute little confessionals. Okay. Again, even though I still feel like there was just this false, oh, a fairy tale. We were in love. And then we broke up. It was a heartbreak. And now we're back together. I was like, no, they dated for a while, you know, and broke up and then got back together. And again, a quick marriage, then the baby. You know what I'm saying? They also addressed the pregnant rumors about the second baby, and even how when the first baby announcement at that black and white ball or whatever, how when Polo said, "Oh, working on a baby or whatever," they was like, "We did not even know then she was pregnant. It just happened to be she was pregnant." I'm like, whatever. They said it's not a second baby yet. They're thinking about a second baby. That she wants the second baby. He like, I'm 50. I never thought at 50 I would be chasing babies, but we don't have a second one yet. Now I do think, he is old. He is old. And even her saying about how her body is, she's like, I don't want to get to a point of working out and get my body back to my pre-baby weight and then get pregnant again. I would prefer to either get pregnant again now and have it get it over with, or not. Now I'm like, girl, get y'all a surrogate. Okay, get your old surrogate and knock it out. But I don't know, they, he ain't against them having a second baby, but he like, I'm 50. So again, I'm not changing no Pampers. I can't do that right now. I'm like, I guess so. Now they do also cover the inauguration performance. And child, when he told her, and her eye looked weird because her eye was irritated. When he told her, hey, they contacted me. Yeah, they want me to perform at an inauguration event. She said, say what now? Say what? Like her face to him, like, I know you fucking lying. I know you fucking lying. Now on the show, Ashanti, like, I don't have a comment. Ask him. But you can tell she was against it. She was against it. Her mama was against, like, but he had said before as well, people in my family was not in agreement of me performing. Even on the show, he goes into that same spiel about I'm a military brat. My daddy and granddaddy and uncle was in the the forces or whatever. And if they can give a life to a president or to someone they did not vote for back then, I can perform. And I'm like, and Ashanti on camera kind of, she didn't say you on some bullshit, or her body language, her initial reaction of how she looked at him was clear cut. Nigga, what? Nigga, why? Are you for real? But she didn't say much. And then even in the confessional thing, they asked like point, like, how do you feel? I have no comment. Ask him. We later on see after he does it, and there's this big backlash. Her and him talking or whatever. She still didn't say much besides, is the backlash that you're getting is trickling over to me. And I ain't did shit. I ain't do nothing. I didn't say nothing. But your decision has affected me. And even him saying at first before he performed how it won't, it won't matter for you. And then after the fact, you didn't think what? You didn't think that people would be pissed at her too? Like, y'all are married. And even though it's not fair for folks to be mad at her for what he did, but the fact that he didn't think maybe this is not a good idea because it can also affect my wife. And he didn't think about that. And even her, like, well, yeah, and even her mom, like, my dad was a civil rights person as well. He marched with Dr. King. I think either her dad or her grandfather. But her mama, when she found out he was going to do it, she seemed like the fuck. So his reasoning still aggravates me. There was a piece of him saying, maybe maybe Code 45 would. That's what that's what I call the man. Maybe Code 45 will help with program. I'm like, and I get it. You want to say you want to go. Oh, no other president ever asked me to come do shit. But that ain't the one to do it for. His point was that, it's not like he's running. At this point, he's won. So I'm not endorsing someone and telling anyone to vote for. He's already won. And I'm like, it angers me. So even after the fact, there was still no, I shouldn't have done it. There was still a conversation of, I'm not saying I support him or I'm not that anyone to vote for him, but he won. And so I'm as if the troops can fight for someone they didn't vote for, I can perform. You're not, sir. So Nelly is still on my list. I'm still aggravated with him. And even him saying, I think in comments regularly now, he was saying how people are complaining about him when he has done so much for the community. He does so much for his own community, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I get that. But I'm like, just say I want to tap dance one time in the house that's white, okay? And this happened to be for Code 45, who no one of my skin tone, well, most folks my skin tone likes. But Ashanti's reaction was, I feel like her reaction was disappointment that he would even consider doing it, and then aggravation that he did it. And I think because she knows she's on camera, she was like, I'm just not gonna say shit. But she was clearly not in support of him doing it. And I'm like, girl, I wouldn't be either. Yeah, they had cute confessionals all up and through. Okay. It was cute. It was cute. They crack jokes, they laugh a lot. They do love each other. I really do believe they love each other. You know what I'm saying? She got him a ring because she said because they got married so quickly, they didn't have time to get him a customized ring. How she said also she brought up how he was going to propose the first time they was together back in the day, and of course it didn't happen. And so back then I asked for a 10-carat ring, but he got me an 11.5 carat ring. That's her ring. And then she got him this I love you band, because on the back of her ring, her thing says I heart you. So for his ring on the back of his, it says I heart you as well. And his just around that. Now, I haven't seen him wear that ring, but I also don't pay that much attention. And he did have it on at the end of the series. because he got it at the end of the series. Um, so overall, the 8 episodes were easy to watch. Um, and it was a good series, you know. But for me, it was also like repetitive because it was again her. I gotta pump my breasts. I want to go to the baby. So that was I got to show I have the beat not the BT girl the Motown special. I gotta go. I got to breast pump. Okay. I have the national anthem. I gotta go. My baby. You know what I'm saying, so her thing was baby, 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 baby the whole time. But also like again, she threw me a party. Wait, child, wait. The black and white ball. So Nelly has a black and white ball, right? And it's like his event, and he was pissed at Ashanti. Okay, the episode, I think it's episode 6. And Nelly was aggravated because she was late. They were 45 minutes late for the event because of her. Um, Now that made me mad. Okay, because y'all supposed to be happy, y'all happy and in love, happy and in love. And because, he was like, well, this event, I usually take the time out and I thank people like personally. I walk around table to table and thank them for coming, for sponsoring or donating money or whatever. But because Ashanti was 45 minutes late. So because she was late getting ready, he couldn't go down. And so the time he usually had to spend, being personal with people, he missed that. And he was so passive aggressive. He just wasn't, he wouldn't talk to her. She said, usually I'll come out and he'll say how great I look. And this time, nothing. And he admitted he was pissed. He admitted, I can't do that. I can't, because it can come off as if I'm trying to be a dictator, not want to be a dictator. And he does have this, well, I said this. Ha 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 ha. I said that. Ha 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 ha. And in the same breath, he'll say, but my opinion or my whatever doesn't trump hers. You know what I'm saying? At all. But at this black and white ball, and she said he's mad at me. I can tell he's not talking to me. And he then said, like, once they got down to like the red carpet or whatever, and how he can't let how he feels. I can't be that way. So on the carpet, he's kind of cool, but coming down, he was. But I also hate waiting on other people, and it was what she said, because now I have a baby, the baby needs more because I have to pump my breast. I have to pump my breast, multiple times a day. So sometimes like the time just gets away from me. And while she had like valid reason that she was running late, he also had a valid reason for being upset. Because again, 45, at first I thought she was maybe like 10. I'm like, oh, it was 45 minutes late. Oh, Ashanti, I would have been pissed too. Because I hate waiting for people. So I get him being pissed. I just wish he would not have been passive aggressive with it towards her for that time frame. But once he got over it, it was fine. And even the fact that we had seen clips of them performing on stage together at that event, we would have never known that he was pissed at her when he was getting dressed and she was 45 minutes late getting dressed. I said, girl, but it's a cool show to watch. We see him also doing some photo shoot stuff with Apple Bottom Jeans line. We've seen her doing promo for that movie she had called No Address. And just them navigating this new relationship, because they both made it clear back in the day they weren't together as often. Even now, there was like, because he's on that tour, like a year's tour around the world, child. And so he's on tour, she's touring, so they won't even spend as much time together. I'm like, what? How does that work? But they both said at the end, no one can spend all their time together. Because you would get tired of that person. So they both seem okay with how busy they are, but they also want to make time for each other. So that was cute. But it was a cute show. It was a cute show. And so for those of us who are pissed at Nelly, still be pissed. I'm still pissed at Nelly. I have not forgiven Nelly. But when I was watching clips online, I was like, damn, I'm giggling. Damn it. Well, let me watch one episode. Oh, damn it. They're a cute little family. Fuck. Okay. So I watched the whole thing, but I'm still upset with Nelly. Okay. I can see the show getting a second season. Um, I just need Ashanti to be less camera aware. Cause I do not that I feel like she's being fake at all, but I want her to get more comfortable with the camera. You know what I'm saying? Now she is a little bit, demanding. Little bit. Only because when she was going to the different, like to the event for the Motown Christmas special, whatever. Because at that point, she's like, I'm here for one day because I did not bring my baby. I pumped some milk at home. I have a flight at like 9:30, and I can't miss my flight. I have to get home my baby to pump more milk. But because they like, we need you for 3 songs. Well, I know 2 songs. I can't learn a new song. I'm a new mom. I got mom brain. Okay, well, cool. We're gonna have you in the valley. Well, I can't film the finale because my flight leaves at 9:30. Well, like, can you get a later flight? Well, no, I have to go put my breath. You know what I'm saying? So she has every right to put her baby first. Every right to put her baby first. I want to make that clear. But I also want her to understand new moms are all around the world. You know, people have things that they have to make time for. And I think she maybe got that toward the end of the season. But you can tell in the beginning she was like, I'm a new mom. Baby, baby, baby. I want my baby. And it was so cute. They also do not show him the baby in the show. I'm sorry, don't show his face. His face the whole time is blurred. You can see like arms and feet. You hear him little noises, but we do not see his face. And she said, "No, I'm his protective mom. Like, and for right now, I don't want him, out like that or whatever, which is fine. I think it's fine. But even you saw a point like on episode 1 where her mom like brought the baby in, and you seen production asking her like, so what is allowed for baby? And she said, hands and feet only, no face. That's it. So she made a clear boundary. Like even if it's at some point you will see her like put her hand in front of his face, which they like. I guess they said, "Girl, we'll just blur it." So at that point you stop seeing her cover the face or whatever, and so they was blurring it. But it was a good series. It was. We seen a little date night with her, him, and Ja Rule and Ja Rule's wife. You know, even him talking to his mom about how, they are going to end up, alternating holidays either in St. Louis or in New York. And but him saying like, I really want us to have it in St. Louis because I think he has like an older, we're like an old, like remember the grandmama is old or whatever, and so they're like, we don't know how long we have with that person. So I'm hoping Shanti will, for a couple of times like want to do stuff here, and I'm like, maybe the compromise is if we live in St. Louis, every holiday we going to New York. If you want us to live here on a regular basis, every holiday, birthday, Groundhog Day, Easter Day, Resurrection Sunday, President's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, every holiday we're going to do. Maybe that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Or even if once baby's older, and if we live here during the school year, okay, summertime we're going to New York. So there's a compromise to be made. Um, because I get he like I have business in Louisiana, and even go to Louisiana, I said Louisiana in St. Louis. But even seeing him, he was able to get like the Cardinal Stadium opened to shoot a 30 minutes promo for. I was like, oh, so he's really like the person in St. Louis, and we seen him get the key to the city, and it was great. He said, well, no, I'm having my key, but can we get a key for Ali? Murphy Lee, the other child lunatics. He's like, because it's not dismissed them too. So it's a great little show. But I'm happy she said, nigga, what? Inauguration? Is you crazy? So if you have not watched the Nelly and Ashanti We Belong Together series, okay? Again, there's only 8 episodes. Each episode is about 30 minutes, okay? Now, if you don't have the 30 minutes, without commercials. So it's fine. But I'm like, child, it was not a fairy tale. This is the test. Now, do I think they can make it? Sure. If he stops gambling, if they hire a full-time nanny, if she gets her second baby, and if they can come to some kind of conclusion on where to live. Anyway, I gotta go. I will be live sometime today. Maybe around 6 p.m. for a little gossip chat and whatnot. But yeah, like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. I gotta go. I love y'all all. I gotta go. Bye.